Right, so apologies for the outage. I closed X-Plane. I don't know what it is. I closed X-Plane and it completely froze the PC. Right, I hope they get that sorted. But actually, on that note, X-Plane, they also did a nice demonstration. And they showcased some of the features of X-Plane 12.1. So, yeah, it looks fantastic, right? Has anybody here in the stream, has anybody been to the venue in Lelystad? That would be interesting to find out. So, Tanner, hello.
Pushback failure.
Muy, hello.
Aircraft appears to not have any steerable gears.
So let me hopefully get connected correctly now. Connect to VATSIM. So we shouldn't really get such bad FPS, although yeah, it could be in case VATSIM has lots of... No, that's fine. I have good FPS. So we are back in Schiphol. And... no gears sound? What do you mean? Oh,
welcome
the previews.
Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Dr. Fried. Hello to you. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you're doing well. And not to forget, we had a gifted sub as well. That was from Pod. So Pod 1098, thank you, gifting a sub to VPilot. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much for that. So now we got things started here. So let's have a look again. Wow. I don't know what it is, guys. I'm sorry, but the FPS here right now in the flight deck are terrible. Let me just disconnect from... no, that's actually... It has nothing to do with VATSIM. I guess it has to do with the airport and the lighting or something. Dennis Moyne. So I'm going to put the daytime to real time. So that's going to be 18 something, 1816. There we go. Yeah, it could be the rain. Let me just have a look. Is there anything I can do here? Is there anything from the menu that I can switch off the rain, maybe? Let me just check. So, general settings. So Avenger, hello to you. Oh, okay, so it's the... Okay, so Epic Wing says it has to do with the flight tamper. Okay, so I guess until we depart, then unfortunately we're going to have a little bit of an FPS issue, but that shouldn't stop us from having fun.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin?
So let's quickly set up.
Snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
We'll have normal flow since...
Hey, hope you're fine.
Hey, Florian, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Hey. So Ant asked if I get stutters or freezes descending landing X-Plane 12. There are some freezes from time to time. The thing is... Oh, now I have good FPS again. Huh? Yeah, now I have 50 FPS again. So there are, you know, situations where scenery loads in, especially orthos loading in, etc., etc. Then you might just get these stutterers. I have those as well from time to time. We'll have to wait and see. All right, let me just do the following. Let's do hectopascals, and we'll do sync baro settings. That was on. Okay, that's fine. Cool. Right. For our aircraft, let's have a look. Here's Amsterdam to Split. Flight time is about an hour 30 or something. No, hour 40. 1 hour 40. And the weather currently looks as follows. Split cavalcade 227. So we may have to fly the circling there. We'll have to look and see. Yeah, that could be the circling. But cavalcade looks good. No threats. Same for Dubrovnik. That looks good for that as well. Good alternate airport. And here, Schiphol, we have 1016, 150 at 11. And we have Amsterdam ground. So we have ATIS available. And they're departing 18 left. So that's all Gucci. Right. So what fuel value do we want? We want to have a total fuel of 6.8. Yeah, well, 6.7 is fine. So let's take 6.7. Quick refuel. And the zero fuel weight today is 320 refueling. Fuel pumps on or off. Mathematics, I don't think it has anything to do with refueling. It's more a matter of not having the pumps run on the ground and use electricity, and you know, to extend the lifespan of the fuel pumps. I would have the fuel pumps in general off during transit, and then just switch them on just prior to pushback. That's what normally is done. So I want to have a zero fuel weight of around about 61.5. So we have a pretty full house today. 61.5. There we go. Gucci. Excellent. Mathematics, you're welcome. Washi, hello to you. Is it really? So okay, so somebody's saying okay, so there are rumors regarding the performance. I have to say right now, guys, the performance is fine. I don't know what happened there with the drop in performance. Let me just go outside again. So here's the tower view, 50 FPS. So you've got traffic there, traffic moving about. Yeah, no issues regarding performance right now. Now we are parked somewhere here. I can just see the tail there. That's our aircraft. Okay, so guys, since I'm giving away 2 copies today, and all you're gonna have to give me is your email address, and I will forward that to Toliss developers, and they will then gift you a code to download and install the add-on. So to make it fair, guys, to make it fair, all right, I'll give 1 copy away on Twitch, and we'll give 1 copy away on YouTube. Now we're going to have more people here on Twitch, meaning we're going to start with Twitch, because I know that some people need to leave soon on Twitch. So let me just make sure I have the right setup. And now's your chance, Bruno. Lol. Cool. So let's do a giveaway. Giveaway. We are... So Toliss A320NEO is the...
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber experience.
Hello, Tomo.
Could new subscribers please
And Jan,
make
hello,
your way to
Mito.
the first class
So-
cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Hope all is well, smile.
All is good. Thank you so much, Toma. So, don't worry, guys. The first giveaway is on Twitch. So if you have an account on both Twitch and YouTube, go ahead and feel free to join both sides. I don't mind. But there will be one giveaway specifically on the Twitch channel, and we'll do one giveaway specifically on the YouTube channel. We are going to start with the Twitch channel, all right? And Washi as well. So Twitch channel right now is open, and the way to join is put !320. !320 to join. Wow, we've got lots of people already entering. So just to make sure that it is working. So here we got people joining the giveaway, all right? So it is working. Yeah, and again, it's a fantastic add-on. If you own XP12, I can definitely recommend this add-on here. Very nice indeed. So let's continue quickly. We're going to go ahead and we are going to go ahead and go MCDU ATSU AOC menu flight init. Let's see if I have the right SimBrief code inserted this time. And there we are. So Amsterdam to Split, the alternate is Dubrovnik. So that's all correct. So it is uplinking nicely here. Excellent. So let's look at the flight plan. We are expecting 18 left. So I'm going to go flight plan. Amsterdam departure 18 left. And it's the Rendy to Echo departure. It's an RNF departure. We'll take that. Insert. Let's have a look. Make sure it closes everything. Rendy Edupo. Fantastic. Then all the routing down to Nupso. And then comes the more difficult part, and that is to find the arrival into Split. My FPS, Brenold, in real life, millions. Millions of FPS. Right, so let's do LDSP.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel.
Toma, first of all, Toma Gitti, thank you so much for 37 months.
Please make your
Thank
way
you
to
for your
the
support,
first
my
class
friend.
cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks, and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Good evening, Captain. I hope you are well and all your panels are remaining attached.
Which panels? Thank you so much. Paul Flies, thank you so much as well for 34. My panels are all good. At least the last time I checked. So let's go. Nupso. We'll take the Nupso 1 Alpha. And then what we are going to do is let's have a look for the approaches. So again, guys, we are expecting a visual approach. So the only thing I'm worried about is that it may not be allowed during nighttime. But I think we'll try that, shall we? So let's try the RNF visual, meaning we're going to have to see if that's actually oh, there we go. Is that the RNF visual? Could be. And then approach via. Let's go then via Lazul, shall we? Yeah, let's go via Lazul. There it is. Insert. So the thing is this, guys. So if I get a question regarding, you know, which is better, Toliss, Phoenix, X-Plane, people, so let's put it the other way. So when people have been used to flying in Microsoft, then they are usually a little bit disappointed when they get into X-Plane 12. The textures in X-Plane 12 are just a little bit different. They aren't really, you know, up to par regarding... Now the FPS drops again. That's really weird behavior. Okay. So just be aware of that. The relay A320 is the best, yeah. X-Plane 12 at the current time is still in a kind of a beta version, so that they're still building and developing. You know, they're still trying hard to update performance systems, etc. But I think that once the X-Plane 12 has matured, definitely regarding flight modeling, regarding, you know, the aerodynamic feel of the aircraft, etc., it will be better than Microsoft. So if you really care about flight feel, then X-Plane will be better, no doubt. I don't know what happens when Microsoft 2024 comes around. Then maybe, maybe then, you know, it will be better again. But who knows? So functionality. If you talk about functionality, I think the FS Labs is still, you know, the most matured add-on in all kinds of aspects. However, it's so dynamic. So with the updates we've seen in the Phoenix add-on, looking at, you know, performance calculator, the EFB, the CPDLC integration, and so on, it has improved drastically as well. So I saw some buses doing like 180s handbrake turns here in X-Plane. That made me laugh. Anyways, I was going to go check the arrival routine real quickly. So we're going to come from Nupso. And then we're going to go direct to Lazul. Now the thing is, it wants to do a holding there, although we'll see. We'll see if a holding is necessary. If not, we'll continue straight for the visual approach there. So that looks fine. Right, guys, we are closing the giveaway on Twitch. So one copy of the Toliss A320NEO being gifted by the Toliss development team for their 1-year anniversary. So I'll give you one more minute to enter the giveaway on Twitch. !320. Please pick me. Right, you guys. Cool. So init A page, B page, the alternate fuel for Dubrovnik is 1.2 tons. Seems a bit much, really, but 1.2 tons. 30 minutes. Let me just get the wind data and maybe that helps. Right. Hello, Bob. Hi. Exclamation mark 787. Cool. We are going to go and close the giveaway, guys. Right. So giveaway is now closed and we are picking the winner The winner is, drum roll, the winner of the first copy. Blender, no worries. So guys, those of you who are on YouTube, you will get your chance as well. Because we are going to do, during the flight, the giveaway on YouTube. So there will be a second copy, don't worry. The winner is... What? We attempt to pick a winner 5+ times. Sad enough, none of these 5 are following your channel. Are you kidding me? You guys are not following my channel. Right, well, let's try again. Oh, hang on. Is there something wrong? Hang on. Is there something wrong with the... Bruno broke it. Hang on. Right, let me just change that. Okay, guys? So let's see if that works. Yeah, there we go. The winners is Jers. So I said, okay, forget the follower restriction. Exactly. So, Jers, congratulations. Jers, if you could be so kind and whisper me here on Twitch or the Discord channel, then I'll get that add-on to you. All right. Congratulations. Well done. GG's. Right, there we go. So now that we have the wind data in, yeah, we have a bit of extra fuel now. That's all right. Cool. So it is A page, B page filled out, flight plan page is filled out, RATNAV. In the meantime, let me have a look if I can get the clearance. Departure clearance. Let's see if that works. I have no idea if that actually works here. So we are supposed to do EHAM for the clearance. Station is Amsterdam. Gate number? I have no idea. Where am I? Usually don't park here. It's Hotel 3, is that right? Oh. Yeah, Hotel 3. So, Hotel 3 it is. And information, ATIS Bravo. Hang on, let me just check something here. Alright. I'm not sure, guys. Hoppy code. I'm not sure if I need to reload. But I'm not going to do that, guys. Don't worry. Just going to enter the Hoppy code, see if it works. If not, then we'll get the clearance via voice. Cool. Right. So we are connected now. There. Oh, actually, no. It seems to work. Because now I've got the send prompt. So sending that off. Newmark, hello to you. We're at Hotel 3. So I'm pretty sure that back here, that's where the EasyJets park. Right, so let's do the rest of the setup. So for Amsterdam, we want to head and go for airport, taxiing, airport, taxi restrictions, parking stands, airport. Let's have a look at parking stands first of all. The reason why that is important, here's Hotel 3, and one it left is somewhere here. So we have to be looking at these arrows, directional arrows, where we have to taxi. So we've got to go via Alpha later on. So that is fine. Then right, there we go. Here we are, located. There is 18 left. So if we can, we'll calculate with Echo 5 intersection. But very often you have to cross the runway, go to Echo 6. But we'll see. Maybe we are lucky today and we can depart from Echo 5. Departure, Rendi to Echo. Let's try to find it. Rendi. There it is. And departure goes initially to level 60. It's the 182 degrees and then Alpha Mach 037. Zero 047, max 220 knots until there. Then we go back to Ivlut 250 knots. Then we go to Lunix Rendi to Edupo, all correctly programmed. And we're going to put in 60 in here. So did that go through by any chance? 11805. Lol. Joystick. So here, contact ATC. That has to be X-Pilot. X-Pilot, push to talk. Let me just check the volume level. 32980. The ATIS.
Noise abatement NAT12 procedure shall be applied. Acknowledge information. Charlie.
Charlie.
Zashiggle information Charlie. Main landing runway 18 right. Main departing runway 18 left. Transition level 40. Wind 120 degrees. 10 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Few clouds at 2,600. Temperature 11. Dew point 10. QNH 1016 hectopascal. Operational report. Contact approach and arrival call sign only. Noise abatement NAT12 procedure shall be applied. Acknowledge information. Charlie.
Charlie. Charlie it is.
Emperor 26 Juliet, taxi to point Echo 6, runway 18 left. At November 2, cross runway 09er.
Love it. Sounds Dutch. That's how you should be. You find these intersection departures very scary. You found it could happen much more in real life pilots enter the wrong. Well, in France, you have to be very careful. Skipper ground. Good evening from Easy 65 Victor requesting clearance, please. Alpine, that is Alpine 65 Victor.
First, Emperor 26 Juliet, I need a feedback, please.
Yeah, Hamburg 26 Juliet, taxi to runway 18 left via Echo 6.
Unac, you remember me from the old FSX days in the beginning. It's great to see you again. Just finished my base training. If you have.
Alpine 65 Victor, clear to split. Ready to Echo departure, runway 18 left. Initial climb flight level 60, squawk 0156.
Alpine 65 Victor cleared to split via runway 18 left, the Rendi to Echo departure. Initial climb 60 and squawk 0156.
Alpine 65 Victor, need back connect, report ready.
Wilco, Alpine 65 Victor. Right, so 0156. So the clearance is as expected, up level 60. Joven, hello to you. Yeah, so congratulations, Junak, on your base training, A320. How do you enjoy it? How do you like the aircraft?
Kilo 39 Victor cleared Stockholm, on deck 3 echo departure, runway 18 left. Initial climb flight level 60, squawk 0167.
Stockholm via the index 3 echo 18 left.
Vova, hello to you. So, takeoff performance. Let's do it this way, right? It was raining, so runway wet. Anti-ice. We got how 10 degrees? No, how many degrees do we have? We have 11 degrees, so no need for anti-ice. It's 10 degrees, actually below 10 degrees, so then we have to use engine anti-ice, but above 10 degrees Celsius, that's fine. No need. 120 at 10 is fine as well there. 11 degrees, 1016. I'm just going to enter 1015 just in case it does get lower on the QNH. 68.3 is the takeoff weight. 29.5 DCG. We'll do flex, config, automatic, air conditioning. Let's do air conditioning on compute. So it's telling us we can do a config. Hey, Hayden, how are you doing? So we can do a config 1 plus F, flex 74, and the speeds, yeah, 114. Because it's a wet runway, what we could do is use the lower V1, and that is high enough to be above VMCG, so the control speed, mini control speed ground. But, I mean, that would give us a huge stop margin of around about 1.7 kilometers. If we take the higher V1, it calculates a stop margin of only 160 meters. Now, usually, I guess, you know, you would put that somewhere in between. So let's go 140 knots. 140, and the rest 149, 41, and so on. So I think the runway wetness in XP12 is always broken. Okay. So that would be one way to calculate the performance, guys.
Monitor radar display.
Jesus Christ.
Go around. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead.
Oh my God, hang on.
Some coffees for the beginning week. Grüße.
Grüße, Octas, thank you so much for the 5.95. That's very kind of you, thank you. Octas TV. Man, I'm awake now, I don't need coffee. That alarm, that makes me jump every time. Question is the Toliss A320NEO takeoff performance calculator more accurate than SimSmart? I've never used SimSmart, so I can't really judge. I would say it is fairly accurate, given the normal limitations of a flight sim. But these value very often makes sense unless you get into the region of Hayden. Thank you much for a lot of bits as well. Thank you so much, Hayden. That's very kind of you. So from what I could judge from real world flying, yeah, it makes sense to a certain degree. Now, if you get into contamination, runway contamination, etc., then of course these values will be incorrect. But for dry runway, I would definitely say that's good. Do the non-NEO also? So the auto break off message or call out, the automatic call out, is a software standard issue. So I know that the CEO aircraft also are getting upgraded with that flight warning computer standards. So those will get the call outs as well at some point. The thing is, you have to realize that if let's say an airline actually has 320 CEOs, 320 NEOs, 321 NEOs, 321 with IE engines, etc. So lots of different types. You want to have a uniform software standard across all of the different aircraft generations as much as you can. And so
welcome aboard the Captain
that's
Black
why
Box Twitch channel subscriber experience.
Hayden as well. Thank you very
New
much.
subscribers, please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks, and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Hayden, thank you much for gifting a sub to 777 Bob. Thank you very much for that. Quickly, if you want to go and get the data here through the MCDU, just go and request the takeoff data with those values, and then it'll uplink. Takes a while. What about the Phoenix performance calculator? Well, the same thing. It's fairly good in standard situations. So there we go. Now we have received the uplink. And now what you can do max takeoff thrust data. If you go to the next page, hang on, no, not next page, flex takeoff. Then you get uplink flex takeoff data. You get pretty much the same values as you have here. So we'll insert that uplink into the MCDU, and all I'm going to change is the V1 here. I'm just going to change that 140. Now, what we can also do, guys, we wanted to check the possibility of doing a intersection takeoff. And so what we'll do is we're going to have a look at the airport info page. So that's one lower than the airport. So it says airport infos. So what we'll do is, yeah, let's do that. So what we'll do is we're going to have a look at runway 18 left. Let's check 06. So lots of runways here. Here's 18 left. So it says 18 left, takeoff run available, 18 left. From taxiway Echo 5, it has 2,820 meters. So full length is 3,400. 2,820 would be intersection Echo 5. So now we have to do higher mathematics. And so I think we have about 580 meters shift. So that's the difference between the full length and the intersection. So that would be that. Now we can go again and enter that. Compute. So now it's giving me different values. Now it's saying the lowest V1 is under 32. And the rest is pretty much the same because we have so much stop margin initially. So all it's done now is optimize the takeoff run and increase the minimum V1. So 132, 149, 151, flex 74, and 1 plus F. And the trim is up 0.4. Now we only have 610 meters, but that is still more than plenty. And you can see the shift here as well, 580 meters. So that is pretty neat. Then we'll have a look at the airport info for Amsterdam. So 18 left, so it's NADP 2 departure, 990, 990. Thrust reduction acceleration, and the engine up procedure will be straight ahead 25 miles. What? Oh, 090. Okay. That is a Toliss thing, I think. No. There we go. And the engine out will be 1500. So secondary flight plan, copy the active. We'll do a return. So new destination on the secondary. Then the arrival runway was 18 right, obviously. Arrival. ILS 18 right. No start and no via. And the last thing to do is put a fix info in here. Amsterdam 18 left. Track 183, 25 miles. And then we are pretty much ready to go. Checklist. Good God, no. Nah, we won't do that. Right and center. Okay, well, that's fine. But right is fine. I mean, just in case of engine failure. Hey, Unak, okay. Cool. Excellent. Right, we've pretty much finished everything. So let's do the last piece of items, i.e. start the APU. So look outside. That looks good as well. Fantastic. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to use my own checklist from the website. So there we do have checklists.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Duo Channel experience. Could new subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight infotainment will be served. Thank you.
Hey, Explain does look really good these days.
Thank you so much. My unrealistic expectations. Thank you so much for the 6 months in total. And I'll be doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. Cool. So, cockpit preparation checklist. Gear pins covers removed. Oh, that was too early. Darn, I thought I heard the... Oh, test. My bad. And actually, you know what? That's a good demonstration. That is a very good demonstration of how the systems would have to reboot, especially flight warning computers. So we dropped the AC power for a split second. Now we've got to wait until everything starts up again. That takes about 20.
That's how pros do
I knew that was going to come. So, got to wait for the flight warning computers because GPS data is also lost. That will hopefully come back in a minute. There we go. Now we have available. So there we go. Good. Where were we? We were gear pins covers removed. Fuel quantity. Is 6,740 kilograms balanced. Seatbelts on. ADIRS. NAF. And the BARF 1016 checked. See how long it takes? Look at that. That is very realistic. Hey, Iowa Scotsman, nice to see you. I like those kind of details. You see how long it took for everything to sync up again, especially with the MCDUs? That is very cool. I like that. Very nice indeed. I was actually worried for a second that we're not going to get that back. So let's put the transponder on.
Volco 5 Echo departure, Ryanair 424.
Ryanair 424, read correct, report ready.
Ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
167 Victor to ready for taxi to the gates.
Ryanair 3516, good evening. Taxi, hotel.
No, so this is the Flight Tampa scenery. It's Flight Tampa, Amsterdam.
Ryanair 3516, can you repeat that?
Ryanair 3516, taxi Hotel 1 at Whiskey 13, cross runway 18 center.
The one, Victor 13, cross runway 107.
Alpine 65 Victor, stand Hotel 3, request push and start.
Alpine 65 Victor, information Charlie, Canadian 1016, pushback startup approved.
Thank you much. QNH 1016, pushback, start approved. Alpine 65 Victor.
Ground to cockpit, Toliss driving up.
Let's read the before start checklist. Park and brake is set. Takeoff speeds thrust 132, 149, 151. Flex is 74. Windows, doors closed. The beacon is on. Before start checklist complete. Hey, Insane Base, how you doing? Is ATC okay? Loud enough? Or is ATC too loud? I can adjust that.
For the next time we taxi on the right hand side at Schiphol. For now, continue via Alpha 13.
ATC is good? Okay, thank you much.
Apologies, Speedbird 619 Tango.
Thank you much for the feedback. So the first giveaway has been completed on Twitch.
Okay.
We'll do one more on
Ready to connect.
we'll do one more on YouTube during the flight. But Jers was the lucky winner. Yeah, so for me ATC is fairly loud, but then I just have to adjust it on my side, not on yours.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Brakes released. Oh. And of course, you have to remove the chocks.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Hey, Mickey, you missed the Toliss 346, yeah. Yeah, the cars are drifting, yeah. That is unfortunate, but that's the way it is, I'm afraid. Yeah, it is a fantastic free add-on, I agree. Right, we've got the fuel pumps on.
609 Tango, request cross runway 09.
Oh, what engines do we have? We should have Neos, right?
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Where do I see the...
Good evening everyone, smile.
Yeah, it's Neo.
Good evening,
Cool.
Ground. This is Giant 383 requesting of clearance to Stuttgart. Information, Charlie's on board, device, aircraft is not on-off capable.
I'm wondering though. Are these leaps or Neos? Hang on. Where's my settings for that? Engine type. But hang on, does EasyJet have leaps? Bruno, you know that. Is it leaps or Neos? Pratt & Whitney. Hey Lee, how you doing? Leaps, okay. Right. So let's see how
Operation complete.
How this sounds.
Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Brake set.
125.5.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
750. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Triple ground, 195, set up Bravo 31, break up your Alpha, to bar with information to Charlie. 95, set up Bravo, set up to get back to you shortly. I will book the company.
Yeah.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Unfortunately, we cannot
Nice.
capable aircraft at this time.
I'm pretty sure they are stock sounds. I don't think I have an add-on for that. One start.
Giant 383, Giant 383, I'm sorry.
Disconnect. Giant 383.
Filling 905, Zero Bravo, clear to Bilbao. Kudo to Echo departure, and B18 left. Initial climb, flight level 60, squawk 2117.
Delta request clearance to Linköping. Airline 181 clear to Linköping. On deck 3 Echo departure, bay 18
Sorry for that, guys. I just need to check something really quickly. 44.
Give the information on deck 3 Echo 18 left, flight level 60, squawk 3135, KLM 1181.
Oh, I love those sounds.
1181, reback
Brilliant.
correct, report ready.
Slick one, how's the Neo? I like it. I like it. So we've got good engine start. 11 degrees, no need for engine anti-ice. Flaps 1, that goes back there. Let's do the flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, rudder, full right, neutral. The after start checklist, anti-ice is off. EHAM status checked. Pitch trim should be up 0.4. Rudder trim neutral.
At Whiskey 13, cross runway 18 center.
So I'm going to tell them we're able Echo 5. Alpine 65 Victor, request taxi.
Alpine 65 Victor, taxi report Echo 6, runway 18 left, via Bravo. At November 2, cross runway 09er.
Bravo, then November 2, cross 09er, holding point Echo 6, runway 18 left, and we will be able Echo 5 if that helps.
Alpine 65 Victor, I'm sorry, will be Echo 6.
No worries, then Echo 6 as cleared, Alpine 65 Victor. Bits, good. So it's a non-standard taxi. Brake check. Brakes are working. So it's going to be the second to the right.
1181, we are ready for start.
So Bits, how are you doing? Somebody asked earlier on if I plan to make some tutorials for the 777 once it comes out. Now, we'll talk a little bit about the 777 PNG during the flight, because I had a quite nice report from one of my community members who was able to fly the 777 PNG in the venue at Leestadt, so the FS weekend. And he did report some interesting things there, so we'll talk about that. A380? Yeah, we'll talk about A380 as well, because I have my special views on that. And maybe we'll have a little poll during the flight who would actually be willing to get, let's say, the A380 or the 777. Love those reflections on the ground. Really good. So, Bravo, which is against the grain, if you like, against the normal flow. Hey Dave, how you doing? Is the Phoenix 320 better than Toliss? I don't know. So, it's those. I don't know. So, again, in what regard better? All right, that's working as well now. Fantastic. So in what regards? Regarding system depth, textures, So overall, I would definitely say that you know, the Phoenix in Microsoft will get you a better immersion overall regarding, you know, normal flight A to B. But if you're too much focused on realistic feel, etc., then, you know, then the basic aerodynamic simulation of Microsoft is going to make it difficult for you guys. But overall, yeah, the wipers are making that noise, yeah. And those, that's actually not bad. That's exactly what it sounds like in real life. Right, and just concentrate here. November 2 is this one here. Odd breaker max, radar on. This is also so realistic, guys. I can only just confirm the crossing is approved. I love those reflections. Really nice. And Alpine 65 Victor, just to make sure that we are clear to cross runway 0927.
Alpine 65 Victor.
Thank you. So I wasn't sure if he already cleared us to cross, so I just made sure that we are. Better ask than be sorry. Strobes are on.
95 Zero Bravo, information Delta, Canadian 1016, pushback started for proof.
So we're going to do a sharp left onto Echo 6 there.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
So, big apologies. Lee, nochmal, gute Lee, ich hoffe dir geht's gut. Vielen, vielen Dank, 44 Monate. And we just had Brain Compiler come in with 38 months as well. Thank you so much to everyone. Yeah, so hopefully we will get you know, the FS Labs into...
Victor, at Echo 6, hold short runway 18 left, contact the radar, 125.750, bye-bye.
We'll hold short Echo 6 and then 125.750. Thank you much for the service, Alpine 65 Victor. So those wigwags are a little bit wrong regarding the position. That's more the Cat 3, Cat 2 position, but we'll taxi forward to normal holding line. Yeah, the reflections look nice, right? So nighttime X-plane, very nice.
Good evening, Austin 375, vacations 18 right.
375, good evening. Taxi Bravo.
So let's read the taxi checklist. Taxi checklist. We got flag controls checked. Flap setting 1+F. Radar predicted wind shear is on and auto. Engine mode selected normal. And the economy will take off no blue.
Eurowings 1 Victor Papa request push start. Eurowings 1 Victor Papa information Delta Canadian 1016 pushback is started for proof. Euro reach rating contact. T07 on to right heading 090 descend to 2000 feet.
Love Concord, hello to you. Yeah, I love the replay function as well in X-Plane, yeah. Absolutely.
Itaro 118, are you receiving the ILS, confirm?
Yes, I confirm Itaro 1118.
Roger, intercept the localizer on this heading, still cleared for the approach. DC 40 Kilo Charlie, there is no further ATC, free change approved, bye.
Scribble approach low from Alpine 65 Victor holding short 18 left, Echo 6 ready for departure.
First EZ06, are we allowed to land? I was cleared to land. 30 with 11, after landing ground 121.805. EZ06, cleared to land.
So no shift inserted, that's fine.
After landing 121.805. And after landing contact ground EZ06. EZ071 to right heading 160, cleared to ILS 80 right.
After right heading 160 right cleared ILS 80 right for EC071.
Itaro 118, maintain at least 180 knots till the glides and 160 till 4
Dave, yeah, sorry. I mean, regarding the FS Labs, I hope they're coming to Microsoft for sure. That would be great. I would be even more excited about...
Alpine 65 Victor, clear takeoff 18 left, takeoff 6, the wind 130 at 11, remain frequency.
remain on your frequency, runway 18 left, cleared for takeoff, Alpine 65 Victor.
Scandinavia 45 to Sierra, maintain...
So let me go ahead and take off first of all. So we have the line up track left, takeoff runway 18 left, full length. TCAS, TARA, and PAX 1 2 remain on. Approach sector is clear. Yeah, the displays can look a bit bluish, yeah. That can happen. Right, we'll do a rolling takeoff here. Everyone's ready. Wind a little bit from the left.
Amsterdam radar, hello, Finland 3, Charlie Alpha, flight 265, flight
Takeoff.
Hello, flying yield 1 Alpha, right hold, descent flight level 70, expect to remain 1 in right.
Manflex 74 SAS. The thrust blue, thrust set.
118 to confirm, your speed is 180.
180, speed Itaro 118.
100 knots.
Delta 142, expect to intercept the localizer from the other side for spacing.
V1. Rotate.
Gun 39 Victor, climb flight level 390, there is no further ATC, free change approved by...
Pause the rate, gear up.
300 could over
Delta 142,
Enough.
heading 220, clear to ILS, remain 1 in right. 3,000 feet, 1016.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel subscriber experience. For new subscribers, please make your way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks, and premium flight entertainment will be served.
Hey, JSnap.
Thank you.
Thrust line, climb up to auto thrust. JSnap, thank you so much for the 82. Good God. JSnap, very excited about news regarding Las Vegas.
Metal 21, roger, and requested level for the window, confirmed? 80 in the window. Metal 21, clear to proceed, maintain 280 upon reaching, and continue via the window.
Flaps 0, speed check, flap 0, recycle the spoilers.
280 and we'll go when leaving. Scandinavian 452 Sierra, descent flight level 70.
705, port time Bravo back, Cockpit.
Easy 5 whiskey, speed 220.
Speed 220, 5 whiskey, and then
571, turn left heading 270.
Am I going to the FS Expert Vegas? I can't. I don't have time, unfortunately. So it's a very low transition level here, or altitude, so we're already standard. 40, checked. I'm going to go and reduce the climb rate a bit.
Itaro 118, reducing, fully established, localizer 18 right.
Delta 142, reduce to your final approach, speed 3.5 miles behind immediate. 071, runway 18 right, you're clear to land, wind 130 at 11, after landing ground...
It's a bit bumpy here, look at that.
Clear to land, and after landing 12180 high. Thank you, Alpha Team C071.
Yeah, and 071 to 84 Victor 1, please, traffic is short behind.
Roger for E071.
571, turn left heading 250, maintain speed 250 until further advised.
Left 250 and speed 250.
That is active sky, isn't it?
Speed 1, Robert, here, we're back.
Okay, for Charlie Bravo, radio contact, continue. And Italo 118, continue the approach, expect delayed landing clearance. Continue Italo 118.
Man, he's busy.
5 whiskey, turn left, heading 020.
So, Dadon, that's on the what regard? You know, so you ask high quality in which regard? Hot star. If there's anything that I would like to criticize a little bit about the Toliss or ask them to improve things, would be, for example, regarding sounds. So I think the sounds in the Phoenix are better. The textures in the Phoenix are better. But Jason at Cut rightly said that with the 12.1 coming now to XP12, it should make it possible now for the add-on makers to improve on the textures. So especially cockpit textures, for example. Well, sound packs, so Uncle Steve, then you can't really compare again because the Phoenix has out of the box a very good sound pack already. Yeah. Just trying to get into the trying to get a call in. He's so busy. He's doing a great job, but of course it's like a London departure. I don't think I've tried the KOSP sounds for the Toliss. Yeah, he's alone, yeah. Yeah, but we could have Amsterdam West Center. Oh no, not West Center though. Yeah, London.
571, turn left heading 160, cleared islands 50 right.
You want to buy P3D? Is there some good freeware scenery? There is some freeware scenery, but you would have to Google that, yeah. Well, currently, yeah, it's a good point. Well, no, sorry, Washi. But we have 12 degrees plus TAT. So, at the moment, there's no need. Alpine 65, Victor, request further climb. Thank you, climb level 250, Alpine 65 Victor. Thrust climb up route 250.
North, level 280. Middle 21, roger, fit proceed, flight level 280, fire the window 3. Fit proceed, level 280, fire the window 3. Good afternoon, Eastern Cargo 45 Golf, sending the Recon 2, sorry, the Recon 2 Alpha.
So what I'm missing here regarding sounds is more bass sound. That's what I'm missing at the moment. So the difference between... So I would definitely say the Phoenix is still superior in some areas regarding some of the failures that is modeled, right? Now you do have failures modeled here as well. So if you're into those kind of things, there are... What was that? There's lots of possibilities. Is it a thunderstorm? Remove failures. Lol. Right. Cool. The rest of the items, so secondary copy active, flight plan, fixed info clear, RATNAV is clear as well. No, JSNAP, no, I'm not saying Phoenix is total failure. Just saying that if people really want to compare, then yeah, I mean, the Phoenix has a little bit more to offer. But for most people, they will just, you know, fly A to B. They don't really care about, you know, failures and so on. So what people usually will care more about is sounds, visuals, and the feeling of the aircraft. So when you hand fly it, how does it feel? And so I would say the Phoenix is better in visuals and sound. System-wise, I think they're pretty much on par. But, you know, hand flying-wise, I prefer the Toliss. You have to watch the Toliss presentation from today. Nice, okay. Do you have a link maybe, Franz, for that? Because maybe we can have a look at that here. Where are we having thunderstorms? Blimey, where? Hang on. Oh yeah, there's a storm front coming in. Yeah. Right, sorry for all the questions coming through YouTube. Just going to look through them now. So again, oh, blimey, what is going on?
Level 848, 989 Echo. Okay, 9 unit from Romeo, proceed Sierra Papa Lima, follow my LS over runway 189. 9 unit from Romeo, proceed to Sierra Papa Lima.
Right,
And then 9 unit from Romeo, third time, proceed direct Sierra Papa Lima.
All aircraft turned white, yeah. I hope they improve on those. So since we do have thunderstorms, it is advisable to put on some background lighting here. So dome lighting on. Yeah, so Mickey, it's all good. You know, don't worry too much about it. That's what I try to emphasize as well. It's only when I get asked about, you know, which aircraft feels more realistic, then I will answer that honestly, and I'll usually refer to XP12 and the Toliss. But for people that don't really care so much for 100% accuracy regarding flight feel, and if you're totally happy, you know, with an add-on that you're flying, that is brilliant because you paid your, you know, hard-earned money for it. So absolutely, you know. And you can enjoy it. Perfect.
Flight 14 Juliet Mike after RT proceed Sierra Papa Yankee. Expect vectors ILS 18 right, information Delta.
By 1 for Juliet Mike after RTF direct, Sherpa Yankee vectors 18
Well,
right, they still want the speed to 80.
so the thing is, comparing Toliss and FS Labs, I would say the FS Labs has a very good simulated fly-by-wire system. It really feels.
Alpine 65 Victor, climb final for 350, there is no further ATC, free change approved, goodbye.
Thank you much, climbing 350, frequency change approved, Alpine 65 Victor, bye bye. So 350. So when I fly in P3D and I fly the FS Labs, I really like it. I think it is very, very nice. It's very realistic. The only thing there is that maybe P3D in the vanilla version is just lacking a bit of flight dynamics. But there are other add-ons, RealTurb, for example, that can help out in that area as well. But again, you know, I do understand people then complaining, saying, blimey, that's... saying that, well, you know, then I have to pay extra for this, for the weather add-on, I have to pay extra for the turbulence add-on, etc., etc., etc. So, you know, it comes down to a lot of money. But that's what I also say, people asking me, you know, if you don't have P3D already, is it still worth getting into? And then I would say no, simply because pretty much all of the add-on makers have left the P3D arena. There's literally nothing coming out anymore for P3D, and so I know that some will disagree. Will say, well, there is some work going on by the community, and you know some add-on makers are trying to get the compatible to version 6 in P3D, etc., etc. But overall, I would say there is very little being done right now with regards to P3D, and just, you know, to get into P3D from scratch is very expensive. So I think you have to be, you know, honest in that regard. There's a free plugin for the bluish tint. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. I don't have it, but I know there is. Yeah. So here's a video. Let me see if I can quickly find that. So am I allowed to play this? Well, I mean, this is a sponsored stream by Toliss, right? So let's see. So that's a presentation today from Leistat. And I need to do one more thing though. Hang on. Sounds. Browser. There it goes. So, let's see.
Section 5, it loads and it has everything. It has the entire flight plan, it has the engines in the same state, the APU, hydraulics, electrics, everything is in the state that it is supposed to be, or that it not effectively happens. You can see here, we had this for a long time in our...
Oh, Jesus Christ. that scared me.
Presentation has finished,
sorry for this, for the jump scare. I just jumped myself.
And exit towards here. Please don't go back up towards. We have a nice one-way flow. And we will also take some questions at the end, so please do hold anything for Torsten at the end. But for now, please do put your hands together for Toliss, who's going to talk to you about Airbus aircraft.
So I can't boost any further. This is the loudest I can set it to.
Hi guys, my name is Torsten, or Gliding Kiwi in the York Forum, and I want to thank FS Elite for giving us the opportunity to talk a bit about our company today. And what I've prepared for you guys is a bit the history and like the highlights of what makes our product special. So when it comes to history, how did it all start? And I think in our case you can sum up the motivation with a single picture, which is this. I was living in New Zealand when Air New Zealand received this aircraft as their very first Airbus A320, and I always loved A320s, and it was Lord of the Rings hype. So when I saw that thing and I came back home, I thought like I want this on my flight simulator, and it didn't exist.
He sounds German? You think so?
How hard can it be? So that means I started playing with PlaneMaker and X-Plane 8, trying to replicate that thing. And well, I was working at that time at Airbus in parallel, so I didn't really have that much time to do things. But then, 2008, I decided, come on, I'll do a PhD in flight controls, because I wasn't really impressed by what I was doing with my professional life up to then. And suddenly, I had a lot of time. So then,
totally not German. Yeah.
The aircraft really took off, and the Airbus fly-by-wire plug-in, which we're still using today,
is he German? No.
Started really to grow.
No.
Until in early 2009, we finally released the first freeware version of the Pushback A320. Anybody in the audience who still remembers that? Like,
Pushback. Does anybody? Do you guys remember
so
Pushback 320? I never heard about that.
Very basic 3D cockpit.
9.
It had already a full-grown fly-by-wire system with all the protections in it.
Sounds Indian.
And yeah, that was really the start where we got going. Then any PhD ends at some point. So
2012. God, that's a long time ago. Is he that old?
It was on the way. And then the big question was, okay, what am I going to do now? I'm going to have 2 kids. I'm going to start working again. Is this actually going to continue or is it going to stop?
You did JSNAP? Okay.
Today, so we did continue.
GG's. How was it?
All of that led to the first release of our first payware product, the Pushback A320 version 2 in 2013. That was at that time for XP12. And it was still with a 2D panel. So what it looked like was this. Like, I mean, when you see...
Oh, wow.
Since then, I would think. So
Jesus.
Like, nice 2D panel with like pop-up
2D panel.
and stuff like that. And it was a 3D on the outside, so not quite up to 2024 standards, I would say.
XP freeware back
anyway,
then.
That was our start. Then this development slowly started to get better and better. We got a deal with FlightFactor.
So QPAC was the best airliner for X-Plane back then.
And FMGS suite for their
you remember the JAR design A320? I do remember that as well.
And we had also made a deal with FlightFactor. Okay, we need to get the QPAC better. We want to have a full 3D model in it. So why don't you guys provide the 3D model for that?
I didn't know that.
That was planned at that time as a QPAC version.
So they already worked together with FlightFactor back then?
Never came to light.
Okay, interesting.
In 2017, due to unfortunate events, the person I worked with at QPAC unfortunately passed away.
So Toliss is using the QPAC's fly-by-wire.
We ended up founding our own company, Juliana being my wife and me. We founded Toliss,
yeah, JSNAP, right?
The rights the QPAC had on our software
back then,
from them.
it was like, how would it work, on a PC? You would have like 3 FPS.
Finally ended after about 15 years after I started with the very first Toliss product, the A318 version 1.0 on the 28th of February in 2018. So since then, we've increased our portfolio a little bit. So we have 4 additional products to date. 2 years later, exactly to the day, we released the first A321.
Sorry.
Then we came out with the A321NEO add-on about 9 months later. That one allowed you to add like the Pratt & Whitney engines, the CFM LEAP. It also has the the long range, the extra long range variant, so you can have all the different fuel configurations. If you select the XLR, you have 33 tons of fuel that you can put in. The regular A321 has like 18, so it's like a significantly higher amount. And also the door concept. If you've seen like A321neos, they exist with all kinds of weird doors. You can have 2 overwing exits, you can have 1 overwing exit, you can have a door behind the wings, you can have no door behind the wings, etc. We support all of that, so you can really configure the aircraft to the airline you are trying to fly. And then, after having done 2 single aisles, I thought like, okay, come on, it's time to do something bigger, a long-range aircraft. And my personal favorite, just from the looks of the airplane, from the aesthetics, has always been the 340-600. So we've decided to launch that one, and that one was finished October.
Yeah, that's a good add-on as well. Like the 340.
And that date actually is exactly 30 years anniversary of the first
Sanders, hello to you.
A340. That's how we picked our release date at that time. And then the most recent addition was, because we have the 319, which is a CEO, the 321 base package is also a CEO, so classic engine option.
Guys, for you that have been so patient on YouTube,
NEO, so that you have somewhere where you just buy the one package and you get
we're going to start the YouTube giveaway in a second. So we are giving away 1 more copy of the Toliss A320NEO.
And that one has,
this time on YouTube.
It also has a lot of newer avionics features like satellite landing system, FMS landing system, and many other things.
Okay, guys, now it's open now. Now you can type in !320.
So that's a bit the history of our company. Now I want to move to like what makes our product special. And one of the things we really focus on in our development is always the handling and the performance. So in order to get that right, in the meanwhile, since XP12, we've basically transitioned to having our own custom engine model.
Yeah, so it's working.
So rather than
here we go.
spending a lot of time tuning the X-plane model and tuning it again and again every time X-plane changes it, we said, look, we'll get independent of that, we do our own, then we can tune it exactly to all the data that we have, get exactly the right fuel burn, the exact right
oh, that's nice. So they have their own
per N1 for the different
engine model
and most
in the
importantly,
Toliss.
we are independent from other people changing things on their side, so our model is always going to give you the same
YouTube, guys. We're doing the giveaway on YouTube, not Twitch. Twitch is already finished.
The exact same EGT, etc. And we really compute in the end. We take the airflow, we compute it through the cold duct using the compressor fields, as you can see
Wow.
on the right side.
I didn't know that. They simulate their own
use this thing to compute really the flow
engine model.
through the duct here. Then we also compute the flow through the hot circuit in order to get like the bleed pressure, the EGT, and things like that. And that really gives overall a very good, very realistic representation of the Airbus engines. And the second thing that we've also done, we had this for a long time in our products, is we have like a custom drag model. So I'm a big fan of the XP12
as well.
physics, which is the reason why we're using X-plane as our platform. But there are certain small deficiencies like any simulator has, and
including the Mach number effects.
For example, the effect that your CD changes with Mach number is really difficult to do when you just use PlaneMaker.
Yeah, so the drag
we
curves.
Decided, look, we use the X-plane flight model, but we override it in those points where we
The
think
Mach
we can
curves,
do better.
cool.
And that's what we're doing here. So that gives you the correct drag, gives you the correct lift, we have the correct thrust, and with those things together, you automatically have the complete correct end-to-end performance from takeoff to landing. Your fuel burn for those conditions will be very, very close to what you get with a real aircraft that you fly with the same speed, same wind, etc.
Nice.
And then, of course, the handling component. We started developing this a long time ago. So our flight control laws have been improved based on pilot feedback for many times. So in the meanwhile, I'm fairly confident to say that the handling that our aircraft provides is as close as you can get on a desktop sim.
Yeah,
Of
I
course,
would
your
agree.
joystick
Yeah.
always plays a big role when you ask a pilot, depending on the joystick you
Yes,
put,
that's
you
what
will
I would
have a
say as
very
well.
different experience,
But overall,
the
yeah.
rest that's independent from the
I would
joystick
agree.
is as close as you can get. The second part that I really like, because that's my professional background, I've been working at Bombardier in aircraft systems for 6 years, just before COVID hit, is the systems of the aircraft. So what we try to do is we're not just simulating the cockpit effect, we simulate the underlying physics. So like
Nice.
one of the advantages that gives, when you inject a fault and you have all the underlying physics correct, the effect of the fault downstream is going to be correct on its own. You don't need to worry about like, okay, when this happens, then I have to do this, then I have to do this, then I have to do this. It all happens automatically just based on the model. And pretty much most of our systems comply with that now. So whether you take the bleed system, the air conditioning, hydraulics, electric, they all are subject to this rule that we really have the underlying physics modeled in our aircraft. And then the third component is, of course, usability. A big one is
Guys,
situation load safe.
you don't
in our aircraft since
you don't get a higher chance
2019, so
if you
can
enter several times.
leave your
It doesn't work.
flight,
So
shut
it
down
only
your
registers
computer,
once.
3 days later,
Guys.
come back and say, I want to continue it. Or you can also say, I want to do this landing 1,000,000 times. So you can do it again and again and again until you get it right. And the situation safe, it's going to give you the aircraft in the exact state that you left it in. So the flight plan is going to be there. All the systems are going to be the exact same state that you had them before. There's nothing you need to configure again. Everything was the way you left it. And that comes also with the autosave. So if ever X-plane should crash, you can just say resume flight, and then it's going to continue from last
So there we go.
autosave.
Just to make sure that you can see your names are getting in. So it is registering anybody that types an exclamation mark A320.
And then, of course, we always appreciate user feedback. Sometimes functions take a bit longer before they can actually make it into the thing.
Oh, I keep forgetting that. Yeah, you can press the buttons here on the ACP.
But like people were asking for a CPDLC
and printout. Yeah,
we have an in-cockpit
I keep forgetting that.
Where you can, like, for example, when you have your takeoff data, you can just print them with the printer. You can put the piece of paper in front of the thrust levers, and you can see all your takeoff data there. Don't have to go into the MCDU for that. And we also have introduced this interactive audio control panel that you can use in order to fly without ever opening our menu, which is normally used. You can load the airplane, for example, to the menu, But you can also use the IACP. You can tell the cabin crew to chuck
yes, senders, exactly.
add new passengers. You can tell the baggage loaders to add additional.
That would be funny, though, wouldn't it?
Through that little interface at the bottom. And when you look at the 3D model as it is today, all the sounds, and you compare with what we released initially 5 years ago, it's like also two worlds apart. So we work on that side all the time too, in order to give you guys the best possible experience. One example I would like to give for how deep we go in the system simulation. I actually have two examples. We have to see if I have time for the second one. One of the examples I would like to give for the first is the question of real data. That's what I see a lot in simulation, and as somebody who has worked in the real industry, you know that this is not realistic. In a simulator, you always get perfect data. So you look at your indicated airspeed, and that's exactly this indicated airspeed that the simulator currently simulates. In real life, that's not the case. In real life, whatever your speed indicator shows you is not going to be exact volume. It's going to have an error. And that error is on any measurement. It's on CAS, it's on attitude, it's on altitude, it's on the position. Everything has an error.
I was really happy to hear
the one that we've modeled, because
that
it's the most dominant one, is called the offset error.
The release is going to happen.
You have the actual real value evolution, then the air data computer.
Not too far away now. That's good.
Computer 1 is going to, for example, in this case, going to give you a slightly higher value. Can be that ADR2 is going to give you a lower one. ADR3, in this particular case, is the closest to the real thing. But the computer doesn't know that. The computer in the airplane only sees these three values, and it has to live with that because it doesn't know which one is the real one. And yeah, as I mentioned, this is called an offset.
It's interesting. I find it interesting that
on every sensor
they model that
in the real airplane,
because
real aircraft have this effect.
I can imagine it's only in the size of 3, 4, 5 knots or something.
And these are random. So like every time you start the airplane, we decide.
I mean, hats off. I admire their
your experience
their work that they
different
actually model
time
that.
with respect to
GG.
Does the co-pilot the higher altitude? Does the pilot have the higher altitude? Because this is what effectively happens. You can
Yeah,
see
reality. Yeah, I know. It's one of those German things.
Co-pilot as pilot, the right PFD is the co-pilot one. And you see the left, we have autopilot 1 engaged. So autopilot 1 means it closes the loop on all the pilot side data.
Yeah, you see it's about 1 knot difference.
You see you're perfectly on spot on 250 knots, and you're perfectly at 360.
That's cool. That's interesting.
At flight level 360. The right side, however, thinks that
nice,
it's a
JSNAP.
bit lower, so you're 248, and your height is a bit lower too.
I have to see if I can find someone brave enough to fly shared flight in the 320.
Normally it's a bit less, but again, it's a random
Lee,
function, so each flight is going to be.
Lee, are you in? Lee,
and one thing that's
how about you? Because Mark has chickened out. Mark said he has no time.
Altitude, for example, we don't apply it on the speed that you see. We apply it at the pressure measurement. So we take, this is my total pressure, this is my static pressure, and then we derive everything you see from those values, just like it's done in the real airplane. And the advantage of doing it like that is if you say, this sensor always reads 0.1 millibar too high, the way how this error scales into your final reading is again automatically applied by the simulation.
I think it's not that easy to get that into Microsoft Crytek.
Uses the on-site values for control. So if in the scenario you see here, you switch from AP1 to AP2, you're going to see the airplane accelerate a little bit until the captain, the co-pilot PFD matches exactly the right values.
Right, guys. So we have lots of people joining the giveaway on
has a big question, which values it's supposed
on
to
YouTube.
Use, and there we use the same
I'll give you 2 more minutes, and then we'll close the giveaway for 1 copy of the A320NEO in XP12.
One example also where this is important is we provide satellite landing system functionality, and effectively what that does.
That's on YouTube, Spawning, not Twitch. We already finished Twitch. On YouTube, guys.
Unaugmented GPS. Your position error can be 50, 60 meters, so you're landing next to the runway if you use it. With this SLS system, that error gets reduced to 1 meter, and that's exactly what happens in our airplane if you choose to do a SLS landing. As soon as it engages on this SLS, it's going to reduce the GPS accuracy to this 1 meter.
Nice.
Like that, you're actually going to hit the runway as you would like to do. Okay, how much time do I have left?
I guess he means FLS, right? Because it says SLS. But okay, here we have the FLS approaches.
Because this is actually a very important feature too, and I have to do a little excursion into flight physics for that. We have a full actuator control hinge, actuator control surface model. So your control surfaces don't just work like the computer says I want it at 20 degrees, and then you move it to 20 degrees and you leave it there. We actually have the full system model with the actuator and the surface attached to it. So, and for that,
okay, JSNAP, fantastic.
I just want to introduce
that's good to hear. Yeah.
Terms. What's the hinge moment? The hinge moment is effectively the aerodynamic forces trying to turn your surface around its location of rotation. The location of rotation is called the hinge line. And yeah, your aerodynamic forces, for example, in case of the wing, you have less pressure on the wing, more pressure below the wing. So the forces will try to push your ailerons up. So for example, in the case of an aileron, the actuator has to actively hold the aileron down, otherwise it's not going to be at the zero position. And that force or moment, because it's a rotationary force, is called hinge moment. And the job of the actuator is really to bring up the hinge moment to get the surface where you want it to be. So
interesting.
Two takeaways from this is, there's one position, if I now cut the actuator away, the surface would move in response to the hinge moment to somewhere where that hinge moment doesn't exist anymore, right? Where the airflow is exactly where it floats to the position where the airflow wants it to be. That position is called the aerodynamic neutral position of the surface, and this is rarely zero. And so, and I checked that on how our airplanes does it and how other ones do it, and you'll see that when a surface gets disengaged, very often you'll see they just stay at zero. And that is not realistic, because when a surface is disengaged, it will always go to aerodynamic neutral. And a second thing that's important is the further I want to move my surface away from aerodynamic neutral, the more force that actuator has to do. It's pretty much a linear function. So twice the deflection means twice the required force from the actuator. So, and we model all of that. So we have even the surface weight and the inertia in it. So we have the actuator, which then we have hydraulic flow through the actuator, which then drives the force, and the force accelerates the surface to go, etc. And you really have a full second order system. And then at the end of that system, we close a loop around it. We drive the valve in the actuator to the right position until the surface is where it's supposed to be. And that system works reasonably well. So you guys, as a user, you're not going to see it. So then the question is, why the heck did you do it if we as a user don't see it? And that's where it becomes interesting, because as soon as you have failures, there are going to be effects that you will see, which you cannot model without having this model in place.
Nice.
So if, for example, I fail one actuator in my elevator, and then you pull all the way, you'll see the surface is not going to go all the way, because the single actuator is physically not capable of bringing up the force to get it to a full deflection. And if you just have a basic model, your surface will go where you want it to go, but with our model it doesn't.
Nice.
And the second important thing is, if you have lost, for example, an aileron, both actuators are disengaged, it's not going to stay at zero, it's going to go up. And going up means less lift on that surface, and it also means a pitching moment. So it has an effect on the aircraft behavior. So this here is, for example, I failed the blue hydraulics, I failed ELAC 1, and in that case you lose the right aileron. And without this type of model, the aileron would just simply stay at the neutral position, but here you can see it has actually moved up to like 3-4 degrees, 20 inch up, which has an impact on your performance, on your pitch balance, etc. The left one follows suit, but that's an active thing from the flight control system that tries to keep your wings level. So that's why you see the left aileron at the right position of the right aileron, but the physical effect of floating to aerodynamic neutral is visible here. And that's in cruise. If you go to lower speeds with higher angles of attack, this effect will be significantly more severe. Another bonus of this model is actually when you park the aircraft on the ground and you cut off all hydraulics, you always see the surfaces droop in real life. This model takes care of that for us. We don't need to have extra logic that went on ground and park, group the surfaces. All this happens on its own. And if you look at the rudder, depending on the direction that the wind is coming from, you'll see that on our aircraft the rudder either goes left or goes right, because again this model takes care of all of this by applying the hinge moment that is induced by the wind onto the rudder surface.
Nice. Cool stuff. Yeah.
And the second case where this becomes really interesting is if you try dual hydraulic failures. So here I did a dual hydraulic failures and I didn't do the procedure, so I dropped the landing gear 200 knots, which on an Airbus gets you to direct low, and then I slowed down to my approach speed of 160. And that means my elevator, in order to maintain this attitude, is not zero, right? You can see on the elevator there, they actually deflected up. Like
so look at that.
One elevator that's left is deflected up like 3 degrees. And I didn't use manual trim. And when you look at the pressures, there was a pressure before, sorry. I'm already at 50% load just to maintain flight. You can't flare anymore. There's no authority left. So the landing in this scenario was pretty shitty. I had 3,000 PSI. You can see like full power on the actuator. This is how far the elevator got. It didn't get to the stop, and the plane didn't flare. if, on the other hand, you do the procedure and you trim out your elevator that it is at 0, you will be able to flare. And again, these are effects you can only model when you go to this level of detail. Otherwise, you won't see these effects on your simulator.
Nice.
The last one, I think he wants me to get finished. Another one, it's not unique anymore, but it was unique when we came out.
Yeah, the safe state, yeah.
As I mentioned before. This is the airplane dark and in the cold and dark state. I said, okay, loads tutorial section 5. It loads and it has everything. It has the entire flight plan, it has the engines in the same state,
nice.
The APU, hydraulics, electrics, everything is in the state that it is supposed to be, or that it was in when I saved the tutorial section 5.
Nice, that's really good. Cool stuff.
A year ago, actually.
Cool.
And
oh,
the big question, what is going to be our next airplane?
Ooh.
So these are all the Airbus aircraft with fly-by-wire that exist.
Yeah.
These are the ones that we have done.
Yeah. And?
The Flight Factor A350, we've already publicly announced that we will work with Flight Factor to get that one.
Okay.
So they get our systems, but it will be Flight Factor for like EFB and 3D model.
So which one? Come on, this one.
Pretty much it's going to be one of the other ones. That's
Come on.
as much as I can
It's got to be this one. It's got to be the 330NEO. Come on.
Okay.
That is such a tease. It's one of these Airbus aircraft. Amazing. Thank you very much. From Torsten, from Toliss.
That's good stuff.
Unfortunately,
really
we don't
impressive.
have any time for a Q&A, but what I would recommend maybe you doing is just hanging out outside of the auditorium. And for anyone who does have a question...
Well, they had no... Yeah, so yeah, interesting stuff. There's some things in here I didn't realize that they actually simulated that. GG's. Yeah, Lee, you think so too? Yeah, Lee, would you be up for a shared flight at some time on stream? So as soon as I get the go-ahead from JSNAP, because I know you're in the beta team as well, right? So, oh, nicely, GG's. Cool, cool stuff. Yeah, sure. Then we'll get. Just wait for JSNAP for the. And you got XP12 as well. Yeah, so I think what would be best, X-Plane 12.1 when that hits, and then the JSNAP giving us the go-ahead with the latest version. Cool, guys. We are closing the giveaway. I think we've got everyone on board that wants a copy of the 320NEO from Toliss in X-Plane 12. So we're going to close the giveaway. Lee, that's on YouTube, Lee. Hop over to YouTube. I'll give you one more minute. YouTube. Yeah, because the Twitch one was already... It was already held on the ground. Yeah, Lee, if I see your name, okay, we've got a lot more people coming in now also for the giveaway. Guys, and it's you only to enter once. Don't worry, your name will be registered, but it doesn't help you if you register more than once, because it will only register. You did, okay, Lee. Yeah, okay, I got you there, Lee. Okay, fantastic, cool, guys. So 20 seconds. Let's start the chrono for that. 20 seconds, and we'll close the giveaway, and then we'll see who won. I tell you what, Franz, what we'll do, guys. So, a little spoiler, guys. I am allowed to do another stream until the 24th. So every stream that I do with the Toliss until the 24th of March, I can give away 2 copies. So rest assured, we'll do another stream with the Toliss, and we'll do some failures then. And so we're going to try out some stuff and see how realistic. And we're going to go into the nitty-gritty stuff. Cool. There we go. And so we are closing the giveaway. I'm just going to check that we have... yeah, that's fine then. Cool. So we're going to pick a winner. Drum roll. And the winner is... Danny Roots. Congratulations, Danny. So Danny Roots, if you could be so kind to write just hello to my email address, which I'm posting here now. So that's my email, my company email there. Just just say hello, and then I have your email address, and then I get that email address to the Toliss team. Congratulations. Yeah, and again, we're going to do another stream with the Toliss for sure before the 24th, and then we'll have another lucky winner. I am going to check the... Where are we? We are at Xerum. So we have Xerum for a fuel check. Let's just check. Xerum. Okay, there we go. So Xerum, 41 minutes after departure. We departed 44 minutes ago. So a little bit behind time. And we're supposed to have fuel 3.5 tons plus the extra, which was 800. So we should have 4.3 tons. I'm going to have 4.4 tons. So again, fuel flow, very good. So that adds up very nicely indeed. Yeah, so again, if you really want to go into the details, especially when it comes to hydraulics or flight controls, etc. So what he was talking about, for example, all of the controlled surfaces in the A320, they are controlled not only by the flight control computers, so the ELACs, the SECs, the FACs, so 7 flight control computers make sure that the surfaces required for the commanded maneuver are deflected appropriately. So to achieve that, you have hydraulic actuators. So you have hydraulic power that will then activate the actuators as soon as the signals come from the flight control computers. And so there's no direct connection between the flight controls, so the pilot inputting the maneuvers through the controls. There's no direct linkage to the flight control surfaces. So it is fly-by-wire, which means the flight control computers will then use, for roll, for example, they use ailerons and spoilers. Thank you much, Jers. I'll check later. And then, for the yaw, rudder, obviously, and some spoilers as well. And for the pitch, elevators, and the stabilizer movement. And you see these little letters here, GBY, right? So blue system, green system. For the left aileron, you have green and blue for the right aileron. The speed brakes use green, blue, yellow. But so each of the spoilers has a different power source, and the way to remember that is use GIBIC, meaning green, yellow, blue, yellow, green. So if the green system fails, you won't have the outer and the inner spoilers anymore on both sides. The stabilizer is using green and yellow, meaning that if you have a dual hydraulic failure, like the presenter talked about, green and yellow, the stabilizer will not be able to be moved anymore. So the stabilizer will be frozen in the last position. However, the flight control computers will then use the elevators, and they will position them to synthetically trim the aircraft. So once you disconnect the autopilot, you would have pretty much the same feel as if you have stabilizer trim working, so auto trim working. So the flight control computers will manipulate the elevator positions in order to have you pretty much the same feel. But what he was talking about is that if the stabilizer is frozen, what happens is that the neutral position for the elevators is stopped once you lower the landing gear. So the procedure would be flaps 1, 2, 3 for landing, and then reduce to approach speed, and then lower the landing gear. That way, the elevators have that neutral position for the on-speed trim situation for config 3. So once you change if you don't change the speed, you have a neutral position for the elevators, not physically, but for you for the flight feel. And if you're not careful and you didn't properly get the aircraft in trim prior to load the landing gear, you could limit the amount of rest elevator available. So let's say the elevators were already deflected, 3/4 on up, then you load the landing gear and the elevators are stuck in that position there. You have very little remaining elevator travel to do the flare of the aircraft. So I find it fascinating that they simulate this. That's really cool. I like it. Alex, how you doing? Yeah, I already have his email address, and I know who it is, because he's a long-term follower of the channel. So I'm pretty sure that no, this is the LEAP engines. So the EasyJet, so the Alpine, or the EasyJet Europe 320NEOs have LEAP engines. And so what I've done is I've set the engine type to automatic, and through the livery, it already sensed that it's supposed to have LEAP engines and not NEO. Yeah, quick. Okay, so guys, can I do that on Twitch? I'll do that first on Twitch. I'll do a quick poll regarding which aircraft you will get, whether or not you will get the PMG 777 for Microsoft Flight Sim. So let me do poll. PMDG 777. Will you buy it? Question mark. So, so yes is 0. Okay, guys, in a minute. We're not starting at. No is 1. And not sure yet is 2. Okay, so when I start the poll, guys, on Twitch, if you plan to buy the 777, type 0. If you say no, type 1. And if you say not sure, type 2. So it's exclamation mark. No, sorry, guys, exclamation mark vote, and then 0, 1, or 2. Exclamation mark vote. Not just a number. There we go. Now we got it. Okay, cool. Yeah. Exclamation mark vote, and then the number. 0 for yes, 1 for no, and 2 for not sure yet. Only on Twitch, guys. Only on Twitch for now. But I can do that on YouTube as well. Hang on, give me a second. I'll do the same for YouTube. Just copy that over. Okay, same for the YouTube watchers. So exclamation mark vote, and then 0 for yes, 1 for no, and 2 for not sure yet. No, exclamation mark vote, guys. Exclamation mark vote. Let me just show you that. Exclamation mark vote 0. That's the format, guys. Otherwise it won't work. And no need for brackets, Jan. Just exclamation mark and then vote and then number. There we go. There we go. Yeah, thanks for taking part. Interesting, because I'm curious to see how many people are actually really interested in that add-on. Because in the end, it is a long-range aircraft. I mean, sure, you can fly shorter routes as well. You know, anything like 2 hours is fine as well. But overall, it is a long-range aircraft. And I know that a lot of people have already flown the 777 in PMG, in P3D. Yeah, and so for those that have been in Laystat, there was one person that made a little report on my Discord. I can read it to you if you like. So big thank you again for that report. I'm just going to try and find it. So that was on there. So here's the report. So it's a quite long report. So Camilo, thank you much for the report. So he said, I managed to do some flying and an ILS approach in the PMG 777 at the event. It flies almost exactly the same as the P3D version. No kidding. As someone who owns the PMG 777 lineup for P3D, I could tell the flight dynamics were basically the same. At least that's how it felt flying it with a Thrustmaster yoke, being used to flying it at home on a joystick. Inside the Toliss menu, yeah, hang on. Joystick. There we go. Textures and modeling for the Microsoft Flight Sim version are nice. They are higher resolution they are higher resolution in the P3D version. Okay, not sure. Nothing to really complain about there, as the modeling and textures were really quite good in the P3D version already. It looks like a nice recreation of a 777 cockpit. Unfortunately, all the animations of the plane are the typical PNG low frame rate stuff. That is something that was interesting to read. So the animations are low FPS animations. Maybe they changed that before release, I don't know. But if that's the case, that is already something that may be annoying for some people. So the yoke movement in the cockpit is choppy compared to the rest of the sim. Same goes for everything else, like the flap handle, speed brakes, etc. I'm not a big fan of the EFBs in general, but the updated EFB for the 777 seemed alright. There was a fair few ground services and maintenance options you can do, though the majority of the plane customization remains in the CDU. Call me old-fashioned, but I preferred the way as EFBs are so clunky and I can't get used to them. Okay, that's a personal opinion, but no worries. Says system depth is as to be expected by PMG, which is quite good. If you've flown the PMG 737, then you can expect the same fidelity and feel to the systems, so I have no problems there. RF, so radius to fix legs, not implemented as expected, but that's not the end of the world, and I wasn't able to try CPDLC for obvious reasons, but the menus are there. Now, radius to fix is either coming with the release version or shortly after with a update. So, I mean, they are working on these things, which is good to see. The checklist page on the iCast is there with all the normal and non-normal checklists, and the mouse integration works fine. It doesn't snap your mouse to the next item like in P3D, but like with most things, I think it's a limitation of Microsoft Flight Sim, and it's not a huge deal. I can't really comment too much on the performance, as the specs of the PC weren't given to me, but I can say it ran smoothly. There were some long pauses and stutters on approach sometimes, but I think that's more Microsoft Flight Sim issues and less with PMG. The sounds, while they were slightly difficult to hear due to the crowd around me, sounded alright and different compared to P3D version. Can't say much more than that without using some headphones to listen to them. Right, interesting comments there by one of my community members. So let's have a look. So on Twitch, we have yes 18, no 6, and not sure yet 10. So it's interesting to see that a lot of people haven't decided yet. With regards to the 777. However, I like to see that. Why? Because I think a lot of people haven't gotten sick of all the hyping going on prior to these releases, and then in some instances being then disappointed once the add-on is released. So, you know, people saying that they're going to wait until they see some you know, some non-influencers make some videos and you know, some reviewed videos on the add-on, and then decide on whether or not to get it. I think that's a good thing to do. So on YouTube, let's have a look here. On YouTube, we've got 12 people saying yes, no, only 1, and 3 people not sure yet. Diego, I'll get to that in a second. Let me just go through some of the comments. So yeah, so long range, of course, I mean, you know, I know that there's quite a number of people that do like to do long range flying in the flight sims. So for them, definitely, you know, having a 777 in Microsoft Flight Sim will be great. But of course, there will be a 777 coming to XP12. Right, so Flight Factor have said it. Apparently, they said it's going to release in March, at least the beta version. So open beta is supposed to release in March on XP12. So that's also something to look forward to. Yeah. So Dustin, regarding the brake effects. In Microsoft, that depends very largely on the ground friction models. So I'm not sure if the add-on makers specifically changed that for the runways, or you know what the underlying physics is with that regard. But I agree, in some aircraft, or maybe even all aircraft, the braking force is way too strong in Microsoft Flight Sim. Have they confirmed if it's a 777-3? I think it's a. Isn't it JSnap? Is it a 200 or 300 for flight factor in X-plane? 300. Okay, so Lee says 300 ER first. Thank you, Lee. Oh, 200. Sorry, 200 LR. Sorry, this guy. Okay, so he revised. So 200 LR in X-plane. Yeah, flight factor is 200, not 300. Yeah, 200 LR in Flight Factor 3 in Flight Factor XP12. Yeah. Genesis, hello. Cool. Okay, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer the question. So Diego has asked about the incident regarding the 787 runaway seat mechanism. Let me just go and get the camera up here. Toggle control panel. So I know this is not the 787 cockpit, but you've seen some Instagram videos, very likely, or YouTube videos, where you can see a cover on the 787 seat, where you lift the cover and there's a toggle switch, left-right toggle switch, and there's an electric switch to move the seat forward and backwards. So the LATAM incident, apparently, as the investigations are still ongoing, but right now it seems like it was caused by a runaway chair, a runaway seat, they would call it, where it's a known issue with the older versions that the toggle switch can get a little bit dislocated, and then when you put down the cover, the cover doesn't fully close correctly. So if you then press from the outside on top of that cover, the cover could then activate the switch. And if the switch is dislocated in a way that when you press down on the cover, it moves the seat forward, the seat keeps moving forward, and there's only one way to stop it, and that is to find the electrical disconnect switch, which is at the side of the chair. Now, I have to admit, I'm going to have to look the next time I'm in the cockpit again to make sure that I can find that switch without looking at it. Because that is something so peculiar that I would have never thought it could happen. So on the 787, we also have a lock mechanism for the shoulder harness. And below the lock mechanism, there's a red master switch for the electric movement of the seats. So you can actually cut the power to the electric motor for the seat. So yeah, there was a bulletin for us pilots. So yeah, we make sure that that doesn't happen again. Yeah, Moritz, I agree that it is somewhat concerning having all of these titles being released in a beta stage. But I guess it's fair to wait and see what's still missing. So, you know, how far the beta has progressed. So if it's only little things like missing CPDLC or, you know, a missing ATIS request, well, then it's not too bad, right? But we'll see. Yeah, Avenger, that's a good idea as well. Yeah, you know, make sure that the toggle switch isn't dislocated. Yeah, that's also a good idea. Yeah. JSnap, I think, you know what? So people were saying, how can that be that, you know, the pilot must have been sitting, you know, in a really kind of weird way to have the yoke suddenly being in the way while the seat is moving forward. I would say it depends on the size of the person, or maybe he was sitting, you know, with his legs crossed or something, or he had his, you know, I don't know, he was having his meal or something on a tablet or something, and that got you know, wedged in between the yoke and himself. So I don't know. I mean, the details hopefully will be released at some point. But what we can say, if that is true, if that is actually the cause of that upset.
Welcome aboard the Captain Blackbird's
Oh my God, leading time.
Experience. Could new subscribers please make your way to the first class cabin?
Hello to you. How are you? Hope you had a great weekend.
Snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served.
86 months.
Thank you.
Good God. 86 months of support.
BB711 beloved.
Thank you so much. That's such a long time. We're getting old. And the months seem to race by so quickly. It feels like you only resubbed, like, you know, 2 or 3 streams ago. Thank you so much for the long-term support. Thank you very much. Yeah, so a really weird incident, and I'm definitely curious to see the final verdict on what happened. I was just about to say there seems to be clouds below us, but no, I can see the lights below me. So the good question is, where are we? Let me find out. There we are. So we just crossed the Austrian border to the south. Zagreb is probably not too far away. I mean, that's Ljubljana. So we've already covered quite a long distance, meaning we should get the weather, etc., and start preparing for the approach. Yeah, Swiss Tony, I agree, but man, I mean, imagine if you had fatalities from that incident. Hey, Breadmaster, I'm happy to hear that you're enjoying the Toliss. Fantastic. And guys, and here's the thing. So I've done quite a few number of shared flights here in the Toliss, and the last one I've done with Melindley, including a failure of the landing gear. So one of the gears I failed on Mark, and so we had to cope with that. It worked really, really, really well, and so it's something I'm looking forward to. Shared flight here in the Toliss, and some other aircraft add-ons as well. So it will be compatible with a lot of different add-ons. So really, really, yeah, both copies have been given away. But don't worry, Organ, I'm going to stream again the coming week. So there will be at least one more 320NEO live stream, and we're going to give away another 2 copies then. Yeah, Mark always wants normal flights, and I'm like, nope. Nope, no way. So, just have a look. Now, we have... what time is it? It's 8:30. So there was an event on today, guys, to TVAT. But I think that's already finished. And to be honest, I didn't want to join that event because TVAT is a very small airport and they get congested really quickly. Meaning that that you would have to expect holding, long holding patterns. So... oh, they cancelled the event? Really? I didn't hear about that. Oh, they cancelled it. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. So I'm going to print out the report. There it is. So that's split, and split currently variable 2 knots. So we'll do the circling, cav 13 degrees. And Dubrovnik, cav light winds. So good alternate airports. Everything's valid. Fantastic. Oh, yeah, so the 380, guys. Okay, here's another thing, guys. A380. I don't know what to make of it. I've never been a big fan of the A380 in a sense that I want to fly it, and from passenger point of view, fantastic aircraft, no doubt. However, flight sim wise, the aircraft is for long-range flying, right? And greetings to Nigeria. How are you doing? Yeah, it's EasyJet, exactly. So it's dark. I can't show you outside at the moment, pilot kit. But it's EasyJet with the LEAP engines, yes. So again, I mean... type in 1 if you plan to get the A380, although I mean it's a freeware, isn't it? I mean that's fantastic. So that's something I'm really fascinated with, that they put all the effort in, and actually they give it out for free. I mean, donations are always appreciated for them, right? So if you find the add-on useful and well made, I do suggest you donate to the fly-by-wire team. So I will definitely fly it. I will try it out. The only thing I know that because I'm stupid in a sense, I will naturally compare it to real world standards, right? So I will see if the aircraft actually feels heavy when flying it. And then, very likely, if it doesn't have the right inertia, so the feel of mass, then I'll get upset again. But don't worry, that's just me, right? It doesn't mean it's a bad add-on or anything. It's just me. That's just me being stupid, you know, with my comparisons to the real world. But that's something I'm going to look into. Sorry to say. We want you to scrutinize the aircraft for us. I mean, I'm going to try to see, you know, system-wise, etc., see, you know, what it has to offer. But yeah, I mean, people will look for textures, sounds, you know, general feel of the aircraft, the general fascination. And for me, what I can say is, I think it will be fascinating if it actually gives you the impression you are sitting in a huge aircraft, meaning you will get an immersive feeling and an idea what it's like to actually command an A380. And, you know, on the ground, taxiing around an airport that's busy, let's say you have an, you know, Frankfurt Airport event or something, or, you know, even flying, regarding energy management and so on. If you get that immersive feeling, then, you know, brilliant. That is exactly what flight simming is supposed to be. No, so I've flown the. Hang on, let me just give you the statistics. Yeah, so currently I'm rated on the 787. Actually, I have a 787 and 777 rating, IRL. So, and I love it. I know Boeing is getting lots of heat at the moment, quite rightly so. But for me, the 787 is a fantastic aircraft. It's so I can only judge from a pilot point of view regarding ergonomics, regarding, you know, how quiet it is in the flight deck during flight, how fuel efficient it is, and how the aircraft flies, hand flies. And I've had some very tricky weather already with snowfall in Toronto, crosswinds, 25 to 30 knot crosswinds. And I'm amazed how stable the aircraft is and how precise you can land the aircraft. And I find that fascinating. So, you know, with all the experience that I have, the 787 is a very nice aircraft. I can say that. Yeah, so production the only way I think they would be able to simulate inertia to a certain degree is if they implement a kind of a different acceleration rate or deceleration rate, or for example a roll rate. So when you input let's say input a roll to the right, you input and there's a slight lag between the input and the aircraft then turning. So I hope that that is simulated to some extent. But yes, of course. I mean, the underlying fault in Microsoft Flight Sim means that you just have that issue. Right, I need to have a look. I don't know why. Out cruise. I don't know why I'm not getting a top of descend error just yet. I'm gonna take the holding out real quickly. So I'm gonna take the Lazul holding out, and then hopefully there we go. So now we got a top of descent. I was just wondering because I had a feeling with that tailwind of 82 knots, we should be getting our top of descent very soon. So here it is. So I'm gonna dial in. Let's go with 100. So we got descend alt blue 100. When did I leave the 320? Last year, August. Daniel, could be. The 350. So I've never flown the A350, and I've not really had the pleasure of flying a good add-on, A350 add-on in the flight sim. So maybe in the future we'll get one. But from what I hear, So talking to people that actually fly the A350, they pretty much say the same thing about the A350 than what I've just said about the 787. So they are also absolutely in love with the A350. So I think, you know, efficiency, ergonomics, etc. I think they're on par. You know, when you compare 350 with the 787. Is the Horizon 787? No, I mean, it's nice to get some limited immersion in the Horizon 787-9. I like it, but it, you know, flight feel wise, or the rotation or the flare, it doesn't feel like the real aircraft. But overall, I mean, again, it's a freeware mod, right? It's excellent in the fact that it's freeware, and you know, it does give you a nice you know, level of immersion with that. Yeah, Alex, I think so too. Are you more excited about the INI 350 or the PNG 777? Well, actually, I'm excited for Flight Factor 777, PNG 777, Flight Factor 350, and then INI A380. I think you meant, right? Oh no, sorry, no, that's fly-by-wire. I mean, INI. Hang on, when is INI A350 coming out? But anyway, I'm excited for all of these add-ons, all of them, because you can see that there's already or always a progression. There's always an improvement coming out. Do you prefer long haul or short haul? Right now, Daniel, I prefer long haul because the last years on short haul were extremely stressful. I'm not joking. They were really, really stressful times, and the stress made me in some parts sick. So I'm happy now to fly long range and long haul, even though when I come back, I am very tired. So if I lose a complete night, you know, I'm not going to lie, I am very, very, very tired. No one wants a stress captain. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, so Mickey, the quality wing 787 initially was okay, but I suddenly, so once I've been, you know, type rated on the 787, I found so many inaccuracies with the quality wings 787 that I was actually a little bit disappointed, especially when it comes to the approach modes. And so the Horizon mod actually has, just an example, a better non-precision approach mode, right? So that actually works very nicely in the Horizon mod, not so much in the quality wings. Okay, I'm getting with all these add-ons coming out, I'm getting so confused. So the INI builds are doing the 350 first, and then the 380. Is that what you're saying, Flylilo? Ollie, well, there's, you know, if you look at how many flight hours the 787 has logged in the meantime, flying for more than 10 years now, it's a incredibly reliable aircraft. So our statistics, as well internally say that it's already a very reliable aircraft. Now, yes, there have been some instances where there was a lightning strike that caused damage to the fuselage, but I had a lightning strike in the 737, and it was damaged as well. Right, so the skin was damaged in that as well. So, you know, there are certain lightning strikes which are rare. Usually, lightning strikes do not cause damage on an aircraft, but there are rare instances where it can happen. And I think it doesn't matter if it's, you know, composite or if it's metal. You know, they all have their limitations. Even more reliable than 777. I don't have a a statistic for the 777, but I would definitely say the same, if not better. You have to do more pilot edge. Yeah, I'll try doing more pilot edge. Well, I mean, let's face it, and I think Mentor Pilot already did a very good video on that. There has to be some changes regarding Boeing and the way they lead the company. There has to be some major changes in how they lead the company, how they get their staff motivated again. And the quality assurance, etc., etc. So there needs to be some serious changes that are going to be costly, but that is something that has to be done. I think everyone agrees on that. And then over time, they need to prove themselves again regarding reliability, etc. So, but something has to be done. Absolutely. Ryan, hello to you. Organ says 16 at the moment, just about to sit my GSE exam. All the best wishes for those. Hope to get into class 1 medical when I'm old and become a real pilot. But I'm also currently on the waiting list for a kidney transplant. I am a bit... So when it comes to these questions regarding, do certain medical conditions then mean you fail a medical? I'm not a doctor, I'm afraid. So I don't know. You're going to have to talk to a aviation doctor on these topics. So I wish you all the best, Organ. So with the GCSE and with the transplant, all my best wishes for that. But the details, if you can fly or not, that has to be cleared up by a doctor. Somebody's saying, I'm disappointed by airplanes from INI. We'll wait some years and observe what they will be doing. Okay, so in what regards are you disappointed with the INI add-ons? So what do you think is missing or what is inaccurate, etc.? Oh, got a weather here, look at that. So currently we need, with a config full, autobrake low, we need about 1400 with additionals, about 1600 meters then. Right, so okay, so we're going to go with autobrake low. Yeah, performance, so FPS performance, I think a lot of people have some issues, yeah. I agree. But otherwise, I think I do like the A300, A310. I think they're good add-ons. Ollie says more reliable than the 777, but the 7 was designed when Boeing was still a good company. Yeah. So I agree. There were some comments and some issues regarding the quality of one of the. So there was 2 plants that produced the 787 in the US, and there was one plant that had quality issues, but those were addressed because a lot of companies that ordered the 787s refused to take on these aircraft from that plant, so they were forced to do something about it, and I think they have. Yes, so yeah, hopefully IndyBuilds will do some work on that, and so IndyBuilds will do the 350 first, and then the A380 afterwards. Nice. The astronomer, hey, do you or other real pilots ever think about the risk of developing bad habits in home sims? That's a good question. And I can only now tell you what my experience is that if you're sitting in the real aircraft, you are so concentrated. And for me, I have made the habit of actually, I have a little kind of, 3-4 page document that has all the important infos, like limitations I need to know, items, checklists, memory items, for example. And before each rotation, I will read through that. And then in the aircraft itself, I'm so concentrated that I've never had any issues regarding, you know, bad habit from flight sim use. Because of the fact that when you're in the real aircraft, you know that you just can't make big mistakes, right? You have to perform, you have to do your job correctly. And so that's why, no, I've never had any issues. But great question. Fantastic. Looking forward to Indibelt's A320NEO. Yeah, I'm you know, I'm just fascinated by how many add-ons are coming out. You know, we are blessed. We flight simmers these days are blessed. Katie Pilot once said she didn't want to use rudder pedals on the sim because she didn't want to confuse her muscle memory. Okay, yeah, so muscle memory. So muscle memory is one of the topics I would say that is something you have to be aware of. But again, I can only, you know, then comment and relate to my real world flying. You know, I've never done a bad landing in the real aircraft because, you know, I've been flying a lot of home sim. No, you know, the feeling, the muscle memory is, I think, the thing is this. So give you an example. When you learn golf, for example, golf is a sport that requires some very, very complex movements. I think you all agree on that. It requires muscle memory. So imagine if you went away for a week without playing golf, and then they played tennis, for example, and then he came back and he had to start from scratch regarding golf, right? And it's the same with flying or anything. The muscle memory is implanted so deeply in your brain that I think you would have to fly home sims for months and the real aircraft not for the same period. Maybe then you would have an issue, but otherwise, again, the muscle memory is just so deeply embedded in your brain. I don't think that, you know, that's an issue at all. Yeah, alien is neutral. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, Ryan, that's also a good example. Yeah, your brain, you know, when your brain has, you know, stored different languages. So if you speak one language, it doesn't mean that, yeah, you create bad habits for the other ones. Yeah, I think the brain is actually very, very clever in that regard. Cool, guys. We need to, thanks for all the questions. Much appreciated. I need to get some items done here. So I've done, in the background, I've done the landing calculations. I've inserted the minimums for the approach, and we are flying that visual circling, and auto brake low is set, so performance page is filled out, and the rat nav. Now let's have a look at what we need for the rat nav. So it's an RNAV approach, but I would like to set the beacon there, so Delta Victor November. Going to put that on the right hand side, so I have a reference for the missed approach. Then we're going to enter a extended center line so that we hit the final correctly, 2-3 that is. And the runway layout, let's have a look here. Airport runway layout. That's the one. Airport, there we are. So the runway track opposite is going to be 049. And then what I'll do as well, I'm going to go to progress page and enter the runway. So I have the distance to the runway. Long haul pilot, thanks for the rate. Much appreciated, long haul pilot. Welcome everyone. We're flying the, you can't see much outside I'm afraid, but we're flying the Toliss A320NEO. So we have level 100 on path, just slowing down now. So for the approach, we want to be here at 4,000 feet, although Indum, Lazul, yeah, let's do 4,000 then. So 4,000 is descent, alt blue 40, transition altitude is 110, so let's do that. 1019, checked, all set. Oh, you're right. I entered the radios again. Test. Thanks. Good catch. Good catch. I'm glad that people are are watching. So 049 radial it is. There it is. That's extended center line. So how are we going to fly this? We're going to fly this as follows. We're going to fly the final descent in fully managed mode. And so we'll descend down to 2,000 feet at Rorke. So 4,000, step down 3,000, 3,000 Nurat down to 2,000, and then we'll do a circling. Now, I can have a look if we have those on the fix page. If not, we could theoretically program those in, but I think we don't have enough time now. Let's have a look if it's programmed. It is. Fantastic. Yeah, cool. So we can actually then help ourselves by printing those waypoints onto the nav page. However, it is a visual approach, guys, so you have to look outside, make sure that you get in contact with the parpies, do some calculations regarding remaining track miles and your altitude. And it's a nighttime approach today. I think that's the airport there. So I've got to circle around. And the only weird thing is, when you fly towards the final, you fly towards rising terrain. So especially nighttime, there could be a threat of optical illusion. So you've got to be careful with that. And again, cross-check raw altitude. And so we'll have a look at the airport elevation is 78 feet. So pretty much sea level. So we have, I'm going to put this to open descent now. I'm going to start slowing down. Ailerons neutral, right? So I find the home sim stuff helps reinforce the real world stuff as long as you're good add-ons. Yeah. Yeah, so I used the A320, be it FS Labs or Phoenix. I used that extensively for kind of, refreshing my memory regarding failures, for example, procedures and so on. So it's more I would see it as a procedural trainer. And it's actually very good for those kind of cases. Going to put flaps to 1, speed checked. Flaps 1. So it's just a tad high in the approach. I'm going to put the speed brakes out, trying to get back on path. Yeah, I actually, Pengy, I have tried this 787 in XP12, and it's bad. I'm sorry to say. For me, there's just so much stuff that's just not good. So it starts with the MCDU. The MCDU is so basic and in parts wrong. That already gets me triggered. So I know that's again, maybe a bit unfair regarding the developers, but I personally just can't fly it. sorry to say. Cool. We'll do a approach checklist. Barrow Ref 1019 is set. Seatbelts are on. Minimum Barrow 2,000 feet. Auto brake low, and engine mode selector is normal. And that's the approach checklist completed. Yeah, lighting. Yeah, I think it's one of those areas, Jilend, where if you know RTX, for example. So if you have a RTX capable game or simulator, then I think you can get that scattered lighting, and that would make that, you know, the whole sim more realistic. I would say that. No, it's not. No, so it's definitely not a good idea to have your head down during the approach. So normally you would have your pilot monitoring do that for you. Oops. So down we go to 3,000 feet. Here comes flaps 2. Speed check. Flaps 2. Yeah, and the cool thing is, in real life, both crew members are trained in such a manner that they will do that extremely efficiently. And Malindley has actually seen that in practice. And, you know, then actually watched that in a very fascinated way, because he's done lots of shared flight with me. And then to see that in real life, how CRM actually works between two professionals, then you get a more understanding of how important CRM is and how efficient CRM can be, especially under high workload conditions. Poetry in motion. Oh, that's very nicely said. Brilliant. So we're coming up to Nurat, and going to start concentrating here on the approach now. Yeah, Junax, so we've got a special permission for doing the circling at nighttime. I'm aware it's like TVAT. TVAT, you're also not allowed to do that in nighttime. So here I have the progress page to give me the remaining distance to the runway. So then descent alt blue now, 2000. Gears coming down. And Venkat, hello to you. How are you doing? Speed is managed. Here comes flaps 3. Speed is checked, flaps 3. Spoilers armed. All the lights on. And flaps full. Speed is checked, flaps full. I'm going to put the flight path vector on now. I'm going to leave the auto thrust is checked. I'm going to leave the auto thrust on so that I can look outside a little bit better without having to worry about the speed too much. So that's 5 miles, yeah. I think it's pretty much like a 2.6 degree profile. And here you have your flight path vector. So we have the runway and the airport environment inside. Manual flight.
100 above. 2000. Minimum.
Continue. 3000. Missed approach is set. So landing checklist. Landing. No blue. Landing checklist complete. So again, we can use those waypoints now to help us navigate to the runway. So we are still a good 4.5 miles away. So I don't have to descend quite as quickly. So for each mile, I have 300 feet to lose. So that's how I know if I'm on the right path or not. So 4 miles from the runway, I should be around about 1,200 feet above the ground. 3 miles, 900, 2 miles, 600, and so on. So this is the weird feeling, actually descending towards rising terrain. So here's the runway, there's the Papi. So I can see 1 red, 3 white. So I already know that I am looking 1,000. Fairly good on the path. 3 miles coming up, 900 feet, so should be good. Yeah, on path now, 2 red, 2 white. Now I just have to make sure that I don't overshoot. Coming a little bit low. Manual thrust. So now it's just a matter of getting myself established onto the final. Get rid of that. So the problematic thing is if you are on a visual approach and you have to intercept the final at low altitude, getting a little bit high here, that's when you have to be careful about overshoots. So now I have to look for the bank angle limit.
400.
Got a little bit high there looking around.
300.
There we are, 1 red coming in now.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
Oh, greased it. So we have spoilers, reversers, normal and diesel. Manual brakes. The flare feels better. However, if there's one thing I don't like that much is, I've got to turn around now, is when you reduce the thrust, the Toliss has a tendency to lower the nose, and that is a little bit unrealistic. Now I know it has a flare mode. I know that it's supposed to lower the nose, but the thing is this: you're already pulling back on the stick, so you are already fighting against that nose down trim. So you're already counteracting that. And so in real life, when you reduce the thrust, since it's a fly-by-wire aircraft, the pitch down moment will be counteracted by the flight control system automatically for you. So you don't have to do, you know, flare the aircraft and then pull back further for the thrust reduction. That you don't have to do. But otherwise, I like how nice and direct the control inputs work on the Toliss. And I think, I don't know how often I've said it in real life, or in reality, the stick inputs are extremely accurate. So even the slightest inputs move the aircraft nose, or it rolls the aircraft, etc. So that is something you notice immediately. Good evening, Deep Diver. So let's get the after landings done as we leave the runway here. It's pay-where scenery, in case anybody wonders. So after landing checklist, radar predictive wind shear system is off. So there's a new terminal building. Let's park here. Why, or what do you mean? So the bird? Yeah, I use the bird. That's a flight path vector. So you can look at your flight path angle. So you have your pitch value, that square in the middle, and then you have that green bird. So the flight path vector that tells you your path downwards in the approach. And so you can put this, for example, if you put that green, those little wings, if you put those at -3 degrees, then you know that you're going down 3 degrees. So that's how it helps you then to get a nice stable path. So Magic Turtle, yeah, I can't. So again, you know, everyone has different criteria regarding their or different preferences when it comes to flight simming. There's people that would emphasize more on sounds and, you know, textures, so the visuals, and then you have people that want to have more realistic feel of the aircraft, aerodynamics and so on. Maybe things like you know, proper simulation of cold temperature effects as an example, right? So let me just try that here real quickly, all right? So currently we've got, although we are fairly low down on the ground, so I don't think it's going to really impact that heavily. So let me just switch off active sky and see if I can force it into manual weather real quickly. So we'll go manual entered weather. So we're going to leave the pressure as it is, but we're going to put the temperature to -25. So we got 1016. Now again, the height, but you look at that, you see the altimeter move already. So it's now 140. Let's see if that wasn't just a little fluke. Plug-in. Let's put that back to. So let's put that back to +15. Let's say. So it would make more sense if you like in 5,000 feet, and then change the temperature. So leave the pressure the same and change the temperature. because that has an effect on the altimeter readout, right? That is simulated in X-Plane, right? It's not simulated in Microsoft, as far as I know. What do you mean? Is that real to the real 787?
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box Twitch channel.
Hey, Tail West. Hang on, where's Tail West?
Could new subscribers
Tail
please
West?
make
Where
your
is he?
way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Mark, thank you so much for gifting us up to Tail West. That's really, really kind. Cool. 10 o'clock, almost an on-time arrival, Brenold. How about that? So we gotta go. He's the second nicest captain I know. Oh, I'm glad you said it that way around. Oh, you are such a gentleman, Mark. Right, so, but that's noted, Mark. It's noted down. Thank you. Right, guys, so we're going to go and fly a group flight. Anybody that wants to join, we're going to fly on Microsoft Flight Sim. Yeah, so Brenold has done something today regarding the Discord. So on my Discord channel, there's a group flight channel where you can now set the role yourself. So you can, if you want to be getting announcements when we do a group flight, then you can add your own role. So you can adjust the role yourself with a command. And Brenold has written that there. And yes, it's /rank group flight. Okay, so then you can add the rank automatically in group flight, and you will get messages when we do group flight.
Experience. Could new subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin?
The same
where
for DCS.
Complimentary drinks, snacks, and premium flight infotainment will be served. Thank you.
So we'll do the same for DCS. Hey, we have a new member, Krishna. Thank you so much. That's a new member. Big round of applause. Thank you for your support. You're welcome. Sounds more complicated than the bird. Yeah, maybe in text it's not so complicated. I don't know. Cool, guys. Thank you so much for all the interest. Thanks for the amazing questions that came through again. Thanks for everyone watching. I hope you've enjoyed the flight. 1 year anniversary of the A320NEO from Toliss. And I will do another stream the coming week, so the next couple of days, and we'll do another giveaway. So we'll do another 2 copies giveaway on that stream. Moritz had 2 on my landing, felt very stiff away. I don't know what it feels like. Yeah, well, I mean, the real flight stick in the 320 feels very stiff. People always are surprised if they fly in a level D simulator, how hard it is to move that stick around. The same for the 787 yoke, for example. I'm sure Lee, who's flown the level D simulator, 787 simulator, can confirm that. So when you move the yoke around of the 787, it's actually it takes quite some force, more than you would expect. Hey, Tishke. Okay, so Tishke, I did give them feedback through Discord, but I can try again, Tishke. Yeah, I'm in contact with them over email as well. So yeah, okay, Tishke, I'll try. Okay, Moritz, all good. Guys, thank you very much. Here comes the outro. Give me 10 minutes. I will be back in 10 minutes. New stream in Microsoft, doing another flight on the Columbia tour. See you soon. Thank you so much, everyone.